Alright, we are on the draw with Rug Delver. This hand is a keep, thanks to Traverse. We can go Stomping Ground or Forest, traverse out an island, and our mana is great. Not perfect, unfortunately, because we have double green instead of double blue, which is relevant. Sometimes you want to go Cantrip counter or Delver counter or Cantrip Delver, that sort of thing. So ideally I would probably have this be a Steam Vent, but what are you gonna do? Land and sorcery in the bin. Goyf is bolt proof. They have Hallowed Fountain, Spreading Seas. Ooh. So it's probably just straight blue-white control. We are temporarily off of red, which is pretty okay. I'm probably just going to go Forest Goyf, build up towards a Hooting Mandrills. Next turn we might go Delver plus a Cantrip or even two, now that they gave us an extra blue source. Actually, no, that's still just Delver plus Cantrip. Whoops. Oh, that's exciting. This might be... I think blue-white generally runs a decent number. Oh, that's annoying. That permanently fogs Goyf. That's very annoying. I think blue-white runs that Gideon at least sometimes. If they don't, I probably don't want Tarfire or another land, really. Let's bottom both of those. Play a Bauble. If blue-white doesn't usually run this Gideon, this could be the Gideon Tribal deck, where you run a bunch of Gideons. I don't think there's any point in our Goyf attacking. It prevents all damage target permanent would deal. Let's just double check. Yep, targeted Goyf. I don't think we play the Bauble. It gives them extra information for, I think, little reason. No, we're good. At least we'll be able to go at the Gideon with something. Hopefully. Or at the player. It's not going to be great. Oh, the emblem is a 0. That's annoying. So they can emblem and then just tick up a bunch. And we need to take out Gideon before we take out them. That's probably going to cost us a lot of resources. Especially if we finally deal with it and they just stick a second Gideon. Possibly one of the other ones. Colonnade tapped. It's definitely some sort of blue-white control deck. Ooh, Detention Sphere. That's going to happen. It's probably taking out Goyf. Yep. Goyf goes away. Unfortunately. This is shaping up to be a very bad game for us. Gideon ticks up, targeting Delver, yes. And step, we're still going to Bauble. May as well look at us. Get the transformation. It's a Steam Vent, so we're going to draw first. Delver hits the stack first. Bauble resolves first. Let's get that Steam Vents. Delver checks. It's another land, which I do not want. But alas, we have it. This Bolt isn't going to do very much. I would like to play this Mandrills. We can Bauble again. We have 3 cards in the bin. If we just go straight 3 and 3, we play Mandrills and nothing else. Let's start off with a Visions, assuming we don't want to use this fetch. We drew a Denial. Okay. I don't want the Bolt. The Charm could be good, but they probably end up running us out of threats pretty soon. So I think we're going to Shock with the Steam Vents, play the Bauble, yes, and then Mandrills, holding up Denial. I believe that's what I want to do. I could be wrong. Maybe you don't shock there. Maybe I was supposed to fetch a while ago. There's no point in Delver attacking, unfortunately. I like when we have good attacks, but when our creatures do no damage, we don't have good attacks. The opponent is pretty soon going to have Colonnade online. Yep. Now they're fogging Mandrills, which makes sense. That Gideon is really annoying. Probably sucks against decks that go wide, but against decks like ours, that is really good. Our end step. Do I bother bolting? I definitely want to bobble myself. Don't want to miss out on that. It's a Goyf. We'll be drawing that first. Let's bolt just in case we can get a transformation out of Delver. Ooh, Mana Leak. At least we got a Mana Leak out of their hand. I don't hate that. We won't pay. I want Delver's trigger to hit the stack first, so we draw the Goyf. It is a Spell Snare. Excellent. At least we can start dealing with this. Colonnade comes on as early as next turn, which sucks. But I, at the same time, don't want to play the Tarmogoyf, because that's running into a Supreme Verdict, and that's bad for us. Of course, if we can't beat the board, there's not much point in playing around Verdict. But still, do we want to thin the deck? Gideon is a 4/4 if it animates. So is Colonnade. So I don't think it matters that we crack a fetch here. So that seems fine. Think twice. I have a lot of blue mana, so I think I just want to counter that and stop them from having cards. I think I'd rather use the Spell Snare to counter it, because the Denial is probably more versatile against their deck. Snare can hit Snapcaster Mage, which Denial can't, but Denial hits Path, Gideon, Detention Sphere, a lot of things. That ticks up to 4 on Mandrills, yes. Extremely annoying, but it will happen. We're going to fetch. Now the Simic Charm would be pretty good, because we could fight through the Colonnade with it. But alas, I think... Do I want a second green source? Or a second red source? We can't get both because Stomping Ground is already here. I think it's green source because we already have a green card in our hand. We don't have a red card. Tarfire. Well, now we have a red card. So we can trade Aberration and Tarfire for the Colonnade. And that's not bad. You probably just attack the Gideon, so that if they don't decide to block, we can Tarfire it. Here's the Colonnade, so we'll trade with that instead. And then I probably follow it up with the Tarmogoyf after the Aberration bites the dust. Let's Tarfire it. Use our red source. Okay. So that trade happens, which is probably bad for us, but at least we got this Goyf to be massive. Green. Does it matter? Let's cancel that. We may as well start with the forest. These are both just islands, so we'll probably do that in case by some chance Spreading Seas comes off and that becomes a usable land and that's somehow relevant. I don't think it really matters how we tap there. Supreme Verdict is still bad for us, but if we don't play the Goyf at this point, we're doing absolutely nothing, and this Gideon just walls us forever. So I do think we have to play into it. They probably hit the red source. Yep. They get a card. I think I let it happen. I believe I want to hold this Denial for something very important. I'm feeling a path eventually will be drawn. Mana Leak. That could theoretically be good. Goyf is currently doing literally no damage, so we're just going to hit Gideon with Hoots. Hopefully we can deal with this Gideon eventually, and then we will be free to clock the opponent. Here comes the second half of Think Twice. I'm going to get the Mana Leak out of my hand. Seems like a good time to use it because it actually trades for a card in that spot. I'm pretty unhappy that the opponent has 3 cards in their hand, though. I feel like a Supreme Verdict, there it is inevitable. We can't counter it, so we're not going to try. We have no way of taking out Gideon on this turn because we have no red and no hasty creatures that don't require red. That's Knuckleblade. So we're going to take that. Hopefully draw back-to-back creatures. We didn't. I also don't know if we end up Vapor Snagging Gideon. It animates. If we Vapor Snag the Gideon, it's going to come back with more counters on it, and it'll be able to tick up. So I think if anything, you Vapor Snag it at the end of turn so they can't replay it, and it'll have Summoning Sickness on their next turn. The question is, do I want to do that yet? I don't think so. I'm going to give it one more turn. That's a Thought Scour. We're going to do that now because we have blue mana for days. How's the graveyard looking? We hit a land. Fetching doesn't matter currently. We milled over a Scour and a Bolt. I think we play it so that we can get a red source if that comes up. Go to end step. Soon we're going to have to use this Vapor Snag, which I very much don't like. It's probably going to be on the end step of this turn, because any later than that and they get to play Gideon the same turn or threaten lethal. So I believe we do it here. Game 1 against Supreme Verdict decks is definitely unfavorable. Denial is currently garbage, so we can't even do that. That's unfortunate. Denial is currently in slightly worse Spell Pierce mode, as opposed to strictly better negate mode. I much prefer the strictly better negate mode. They're probably taking out our last green source. Well, actually, it's not our last green source. That is going to happen. They actually go through a lot of cards with all the Spreading Seas and Wall of Omens. That's fantastic. I really like that. I like this build of blue-white. They are cycling through so much of their deck. They've seen almost as much of their deck as we have ours. That creature, pay the blue, get it out of here, give us an extra turn. Who knows what we'll hit? I think we're going to fetch. The point of life doesn't matter, but the taking out the steam vents could. I think we get the steam vents because we already have a green source, and we also don't have any other green sources in the deck. That's an island. That really hurts. We're not going to show it to them. I actually think we drew pretty well this game because we ended up hitting a lot of threats. We had Delver, Goyf, and Mandrills, which isn't bad, and I don't think we even traversed for any. No, we didn't. So I actually think we drew pretty well in terms of threats. It's just that they did their thing and found the removal they needed. We're going to have to bounce the animated Gideon. Once it gets animated, they will get to replay it, but that's okay. That happens. Let's return target creature to its owner's hand. Does it matter when we do it? I don't believe so. That one, blue-green. Get another turn out of this game. Cryptic. Cancel that skip, even though we can't denial this. I'm not going to show them the denial. They haven't seen any yet, so maybe they don't realize we're playing it. So I think there's slight amounts of percentage points to be gained from that. It's not a lot, and it probably doesn't matter, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Sideboarding for blue-white. We're going to bring in these Blood Moons. They turn off Colonnade, and while we won't necessarily end up mana screwing them, we can probably do a decent job of it. Engineered Explosive seems bad, so does Forked Bolt. And Pyroclasm. Huntmaster is another threat. I don't think they play colorless spells. They don't go wide. Basilisk Collar, Lifelink, and Death Touch aren't things I'm looking for. Neither is artifact destruction, but enchantment destruction certainly is. That's 6 cards we are looking to bring in. I think you keep the baubles. I haven't played with them very much yet, but I believe the Delirium package is something we want. We actually haven't seen a... the word is... Snapcaster Mage yet. So I think they might be running Rest in Peace in their sideboard, which could really hurt us, given that we have 3 Traverse, 2 Snapcaster Mage, 6, 7 threats. That is 12 cards that rely on the graveyard. So I'm pretty sure we may want to end up boarding some of that out. I think even if we didn't see the Oblivion Ring, not Oblivion Ring, that was Detention Sphere, basically the same effect. Detention Sphere is slightly better at the cost of being a little more mana intensive, or at least color intensive. I think you're boarding in Destructive Revelry anyways in anticipation of Graveyard Hate. Vapor Snag, probably not great. I'd rather keep the Simic Charm, because it's a little more versatile against a deck that doesn't have that many threats. I think you might want the Deprives, the Denials. I do want Deprive as well. I could see cutting a Mana Leak, but I actually have a decent number of cards I want to get rid of, and I'm even considering getting rid of some of these graveyard-centric cards, just because of how much of a blowout them having Rest in Peace would be. But at the same time, Dryad at least is still a 1-1 with Death Touch, meaning it can swing into Colonnade. But I guess a 1-1 really isn't a clock at all, so we probably get rid of that. Maybe bring in Thought Scour, help us hit lands. I don't want to board out too many because I am running only 17 lands here, although I do have a little extra cantrips, and Traverse probably is going to end up getting us some lands. But I digress. Maybe we want that Mana Leak over a Thought Scour? Probably not. The game's going to go pretty long, I think. Of course, normally I don't think I board out Mana Leaks against these kinds of decks. So let's just run this with the Mana Leak over the Thought Scour. We're going to be on the play naturally. This hand is also a keep, which is pretty good for us. Mulliganing against control decks kind of hurts. Well, I guess mulliganing against any kind of deck hurts because you're just less likely to be able to deal with aggro or combo, and you're easier for control and mid-range to grind you into the dust. But mulliganing against a controller mid-range deck really hurts because it means they can grind you a lot more easily. I'm going to grab a Steam Vents and cast Serum Visions, hopefully finding some sweet threats or some lands. Looks like we're going to turn 2 Goyf here. We did mulligan that previous game. I actually want both of these. Probably Bauble first, because it's going to grow the Goyf sooner. We mulliganed that game, which did hurt us, but I don't think it really was the definitive factor for us losing. Let's start with a Bauble, maybe. They could have Spell Snare here, which is going to hurt. Let's just start with the Goyf. I think our opponent played pretty well there. I, of course, think we played pretty well there. I did end up making those plays, so I made the ones that I thought were good. They're going to fetch here. I actually don't mind getting pathed because it ramps us into Knuckleblade. Helps with Blood Moon, all sorts of good stuff. Do I want to Bauble here? I technically should have Baubled already. I don't know if you actually need to Bauble already, though. It doesn't actually turn on Traverse, so we're not traversing yet. We could Traverse for an island. I actually kind of want to do that. Traverse won't be on for a little while. I don't see myself casting an instant soon. So we could Traverse for an island and have Deprive, which I like. Let's do it. It also makes eventual Blood Moons better. Gets us Nux sooner. I think I like traversing for a Deprive there. Now I might want to Serum Visions. I'm not sure. I also maybe should have bobbled before traversing, because we could have chosen not to traverse, but this isn't a fetch land the way Death's Shadow does it. I think you do want to traverse there. I feel like I want to hold up Deprive. I am going to crack Bobble now, though. In fact, yes, we're going to attack. Done. I want to look at their top card to see if it's something that I need to play around. It's another Flooded Strand. That's okay. Ooh, a Blessed Alliance. They're going to make us sack Goyf. I don't want to sack Goyf. I think we just deprive that. I'll bounce the island. It really doesn't matter. We're definitely not casting visions now. They also put in, well, we both put an instant in the graveyard. So Goyf got to grow one more size that day. Kind of like the Grinch, although he grew 3 sizes. I believe his heart started off 2 sizes too small, and then his heart grew 3 sizes, ending up bigger than the average heart. I think that's how it ends up going. I apologize for the spoilers about How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but if you haven't seen that movie yet, you're kind of really behind, so I don't feel bad. Drawing Denial was good. I'm going to Denial that. Here's a Mana Leak. Alright, well, we lose our Goyf. Not gonna do it. I believe we get another island, but maybe I want to play around Spreading Seas, so we could get the mountain as another red source. I don't hate that. It also makes Nux a little better. Ooh, Goyf! Look at that. That's what I like to see. I don't think we save our counter spells for Gideon. I'm pretty sure we just have to use it on their removal, or them on their removal. Is it an upkeep path? No, it's a Delver. Let's start off with Visions to see if we want to play the Delver. Ooh, Huntmaster on top. I like that. It makes Delver slightly worse, but I very much like that. Let's get in. I don't think I mind playing a land here. We probably end up using it. Do I want to play the Stomping Ground? Maybe we end up wanting to go Huntmaster Bolt or Huntmaster Delver. I don't think I want to play the Delver yet, because I'd rather play the Huntmaster. So I think I'd rather have the Delver in case they end up having a Verdict. The 5th land also lets us go Nux, Haste, Delver in the same turn. Blue, green, red, red. That covers Nux and Haste. There's blue. They Visions. What did they do? They bottom topped. Blood Moon is going to be pretty bad here. Ooh, Tech Edge. That probably takes out our second blue source, Wrath of God. I didn't know blue-white played Wrath of God. I thought it was just all Verdict all the time. What do you know? Let's just bolt them. Now, I actually want to start off with Knuckleblade here because it straight up puts them down to 3, and that's pretty fantastic. So I think we just do that. Then again, Knuckleblade's going to put them down to 3 anytime I want. We could play Huntmaster instead, which is better against spot removal. I think I just want to do this. I don't think I want to play the Delver because I believe I would rather play around another Wrath effect. This is unfortunate if they have Gideon because it means they can blank Nux. But that's probably okay. Or we just play the Delver and say nuts to it. Decisions. I don't think I'm playing around Gideon. If they had Gideon, they were playing it a while ago. That, of course, doesn't mean that they don't have Gideon. It's entirely possible that they draw it, and they evidently do have Gideon, but it makes it less likely for them to have it when they need it. That is unfortunate. Then again, Bolt is a kill, so putting them down to 3 was a good thing. Tarfire, not quite there. I'm going to play the Huntmaster. It does threaten lethal. Ooh. Mana Leak makes me want to play Delver now. No, we're not paying for it. We're going to play Delver, though. I wouldn't have played all 3 threats out. There's no need for you to attack Nux. I wouldn't have let the Nux, Delver, and Huntmaster all be on the board at the same time, because that's really playing into a Wrath. So I would play out just the 2. If they have the Wrath, what are you going to do? If they don't, something can hit them through Gideon. Is that a transform? It is. Denial's online. Can I draw that, please? Knuckleblade can't do damage, but at least it can enable Denial. I believe this is game. I'm not attacking Gideon. I'm going for the throat. There we go. Excellent. That's what I like to see. Do we just run this back? I almost want to cut a Blood Moon. Almost. They seem to play a lot of basics because I don't think they've fetched many out. Is there something better than a Blood Moon? Possibly this Thought Scour. We still haven't seen any graveyard synergies in their deck. So Rest in Peace is very much on my radar for Game 3. At the same time, we haven't seen Rest in Peace yet, which is a good sign. Let's see. Can we sort this at all? Is Serum Visions over here? What are you doing, Xmage? You're killing me here. Xmage has no respect for organization. None whatsoever. We have 2 minutes, so I'm going to take my time. These are all threats. I like that. I feel like I should maybe cut down on the graveyard synergies, but at the same time, I don't want to. There's only one ceremonious rejection in this sideboard. I was thinking of my own 75, and I was going to say, I think that means I have one in the 60 right now, but I don't. Crisis averted. Dismember covers Colonnade, but Blood Moon does that anyways. Basilisk Collar makes Colonnade worse by giving things Death Touch, but I really don't think that's where I want to be. Bolt, Vapor Snag, Thought Scour. I'm basically trading Blood Moon for Thought Scour. Is that good? This version of Blue-White plays more counter spells than I think most do. That's relevant. Somehow. I think. Does that help my decision? That makes Blood Moon a worse card. I can get behind that. It's a pretty big tempo loss to have it countered. And having multiples are pretty dead. I also really want to draw it, though. Thought Scour makes us a little less likely to draw Blood Moon, but it does help a little bit because it is a cantrip. We could mill Blood Moon. That could help. Maybe they're just running Relic as their graveyard hate of choice. I think I'm just going to run back what we have here. I think it's wrong to not have 3 Blood Moons in the deck. This hand isn't Blood Moon friendly, but it is probably a keep. So we're going to keep. Our opponent's mulliganing. I believe they mulliganed last game. We probably start on Bauble to see if we want to fetch. I think I like that. I'm definitely still getting used to Bauble, so expect me to, and please forgive me when I make a bunch of misplays around it. Cast Bauble, yes. I think I would rather draw on their upkeep in case we draw a Spell Snare, and that's somehow relevant in a way that Denial isn't, and I don't think they have a way to pick apart our hand, but I actually want to do it after they shuffle. So we're going to let them crack the Flooded Strand first. We're basically playing chicken with them. They want to crack their Flooded Strand to avoid taking shock, but they also probably don't want to do it because now we have unmitigated access to the top card of their library, which is a Tech Edge. That's fine. We're going to draw... Is it relevant? It's a mandrills. That could be good. It could also be really bad. Wall of Omens. That's something I would have liked to snare. Denial does not hit that. Our opponent already has a basic land, so I don't think I want to play around Blood Moon and get a basic island here. I think I'm better off just getting the Steam Vents. Stomping Ground makes me kind of wish I got a basic island. But anyways, Stomping Ground is a better Spreading Seas target than Breeding Pool, so I'm going to run the Breeding Pool out first. Let's cast this Goyf. We know about this Tech Edge that is currently in their hand. Command Zone and Emblem. I didn't know that was a thing. Accidentally clicked on it. Hopefully you guys learned something too today. Here's a Colonnade, which means Tech Edge is still in hand. They have a lot of cards. So do we, to be fair. We drew the second Mandrills, which is probably really bad here. We can attack and then bolt the wall, which seems kind of good. Do I want to shock? Possibly. It lets us keep an extra denial up, so that could be relevant. Our life total isn't likely to be relevant on the other hand, so I do think I want to do that. Let's get in there with Goyf. They haven't played Gideon yet. Ooh, they didn't block. I'll just do 2. That's fine. I'm not going to waste the bolt to do an extra damage to them. I think that's bad. Go to them. I like having both denials up. That's something I enjoy. It means we can counter a Gideon even if they have a land drop. What is this Flooded Strand from? I actually don't know. Oh, that's their graveyard. I forgot I put that there. Wow. I blanked really hard. Excuse me. I thought that was another reveal window like the Tech Edge. They're thinking about stuff. Here's the Tech Edge. We can get rid of it. Go to our turn. Now I think I bolt them. They're not playing anything, so I don't think they have any good bolt targets yet. We get to grow Goyf. Let's swing. Now that might make them more eager to block with the wall, which really could be a big misplay on my part. It's possible I didn't want to do that. I also don't really want to play out this Steam Vents because of the Tech Edge. They can only do it if we have 4 or more lands, so I think I would prefer to hold on to that until I actually draw something I want to pump 4 mana into. Yeah, that bolt play was bad. Do we just let that happen, or do we grow the Goyf? I have 2 more threats, so I think I just want to get going here. Green-blue. Think twice. They're digging for an answer. They might have it. They don't. That was pretty bad, because we did basically 2 for 1 ourselves. We put a creature in the graveyard, which means Goyf is now a permanent 4/5. That's a good thing. Irrigated farmland. Oh, cycling. Oh, that's cool. Good for them having a cycle land. Good for them. We're pretty even on cards, which is good. I like not being down on cards against control decks, and really against aggro decks, and pretty much all the other decks that exist. Except cards that decks that deal damage to you equal to the number of cards you have. That doesn't come up in Modern, I don't think, though. Temple of Enlightenment. I'm not sure why they have that. I guess they're just taking advantage of all the different lands you can run in a land-heavy deck. Probably. Serum Visions, we could counter that. They have 4 cards in their hand, though, so I think I'd rather save the denials for the action spells. We're going to have to fight through this wall. I don't think we're committing another threat unless a Gideon comes down. And we can fortunately denial Gideon. Wow, I want to counter that so badly. Do we do it? Oh, it's a hard choice. It really is. I really want to have this denial in hand. Oh, woe is me. If we let them have the relic... Yeah, we can't let them have relic. Okay, Delver. I might run the Delver out as a hedge against Gideon, because it's a little weak to board wipes, but at the same time, if they have a Gideon, we're going to be very behind. So I think I would like to play this Delver. Let's keep more green than red. We unfortunately have to use blue, but we don't have much blue going anyways. Here's Supreme Verdict. Maybe that was wrong. I couldn't say. They have another Colonnade, which is going to be a pain. Oh, hey, follow-up Goyf. I like that better than Mandrills, because Goyf doesn't trade with Colonnade. It just eats Colonnade for breakfast. So I think I'd rather prioritize the Goyf. We still don't have a reason to play our Steam Vents. Path, we're going to counter it. Hopefully that's the end of that, but it might not be. Denial's a really good card. I really like it. They can't animate Colonnade anymore unless they have a land drop. 3 cards in hand for our opponent, 3 cards for us. One of ours is a land, we know that. Jace, ooh. Look at that. That text is pretty small. They're mini factor fictioning. Top 3 cards. We separate them into 2 piles. Okay. Well, I think I'd rather give them Relic, because they won't be able to use it yet. And I don't want them to have Wrath. I don't really care either way about Ghost Quarter. Pile 1 is going to be Relic and Ghost Quarter. Done. Pile 2 is the Wrath. Hopefully they don't take the Wrath. They took the Ghost Quarter. Okay. Oh, I gave them a land to use the Relic. Okay, that was at least somewhat dumb. We could Hasty Nux. We didn't give them a board wipe. We could Hasty Nux. I think I want to cast the Mandrills, though, before combat, so they don't ruin our Mandrills. I don't want to cast both. I'm just going to play the 1. I'm not playing any other spells, so I'm probably just going to leave 1 land up. Our graveyard is likely to get nuked imminently. Let's do it like that. So I don't think it matters that I could end up shrinking Goyf a little bit. I don't want to play the second Mandrills in case they do have the board wipe. That would be really bad. Let's just take out Jace if they allow it. I was thinking they only have the 1 land, so they won't be able to use the Relic this turn. So we give them the Relic, hit them for a good bit, play out a Mandrills before they can do anything to our graveyard, yada yada yada. Instead, I gave them the land they needed, but I don't think I wanted them to have Wrath. Relic is probably a little worse than Wrath, but it draws a card. They have a lot of lands. We also don't have anything on Colonnade right now, which is of course unfortunate. Mandrills probably trades with the first. Hopefully Goyf gets big. Now we could Hasty Nuck in to ensure that Jace gets into the graveyard, to ensure that Goyf grows at a reasonable time. Oh yeah, we are going to die. Elspeth is too good for us. Elspeth is very strong. That is a card you don't see a lot of, but I very much like it. I'm not sure how we're going to fight through this. That'll help. So, we Tarfire. It puts 2 cards in the 2 types in the bin. Goyf becomes a 2/3. They would have to block Goyf with all of the soldiers, but then we can't Hasty Nuck. Or we Hasty Nuck, we swing everything at Elspeth, well, the 2 with power. They chump block Nux. Elspeth probably goes down 3 to 2. They make a bunch more soldiers. Magic's hard, and we're in a bad spot. Oh, we only have 5 minutes left on the clock. I should hurry up. Nux or Tarfire? I think it's Nux. 1, red, blue, green. Let's shock, give it haste. Nux, haste. I believe this game has pretty much slipped away, but we're still going to give it a try. Everything's going to Elspeth right now, because Elspeth is extremely frightening. And that's going to happen. Our creatures are going to get a little smaller. At least they won't die in combat. They maybe don't realize that Mandrills has trample. That or that 1 point of loyalty is very important to them. It very well could be the latter. Glacial Fortress. It is super relevant that Supreme Verdict or even Wrath of God right now just straight up murders us. But what they have on the board basically murders us as well. So I'm pretty much no longer playing around Wrath effects. I really can't afford to, I don't think. So I believe we are pretty much all in at this point. Deal with Elspeth. Create such a good board that we can deal with Elspeth and then kill them very quickly. That's basically what we have to do here. I really don't want Elspeth to -3. They could have already. I'm not sure why they didn't. They made more tokens instead. So now we can put a land that's 3 types. That makes Goyf a legitimate threat. We can grow Nux. Everything's coming at Elspeth. Let's do it. We got this. Lots of Jace triggers. That's fine. You don't scare me, Jace. It is Elspeth that has me quite concerned. We'll let them block first. Blessed Alliance probably just takes care of Goyf. They could also gain life off of it. They probably do all the modes, but the untap is not relevant, fortunately. Oh, they're only doing the 1. Well, I'm going to sacrifice Tarmogoyf, even though it is a nice creature. It's probably the worst one I have. Snapcaster Blessed Alliance is pretty good. It's also something that we can't play around. I probably have to sacrifice Knuckleblade now, because Mandrills has trample. Unfortunately, yeah, I think we just lost. We could sacrifice Knuckleblade and then have a follow-up Mandrills and hopefully get enough trample going, because Knuckleblade's going nowhere very slowly, so that's not what we want to keep around. Mandrills probably dies to 4 soldiers. Of course, if they go for that, I can just Tarfire one of them, which gives Mandrills a new lease on life, which is nice. Turns out they are playing Snapcaster Mage, so that's something. Another thing is, if we play out the second Mandrills, we're going to lose to Elspeth's -3. So I'm pretty sure we just lose this game no matter what we do. Let's Tarfire there, keep Mandrills around. So we deal with those, and now we basically can't beat the rest of their stuff. We could have Tarfired Elspeth, but we still end up with just 1 Mandrills. I think we just pass to them. If we play the Mandrills, we basically lose on the spot. They also have Colonnade. I think we just lost the match. I don't think we can come back from this position. It is definitely unfortunate, but Elspeth is really good. Serum Visions goes with what? Detention Sphere or Verdict? Verdict and Detention Sphere are basically the same card right now, so I think we're going to give them Detention Sphere and Visions. Top decking a counter doesn't even help us. I don't think there's anything that gets us out of this. I really don't. I'm pretty sure we're just dead 8 ways to Sunday. But we're going to see what we can do. Maybe we learn a thing or two. There's the Detention Sphere. Yup. It happens. We could get a Huntmaster of the Fells, or we could top deck a Traverse into Huntmaster. There's a Gideon Jura, that's gonna clock us. Never mind, we just straight up basically don't have outs. They just have us dead from so many angles. How big is this? It's a 6/6 fetching. Still doesn't matter, I don't think. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Fetching doesn't matter. What do we want? Let's get an island. Yup. A nice island. Let's go to us. Visions. Oh, they can activate Colonnade. No, we're just very, very dead. Wow. We basically need destroy all permanents to get back into this game. Snapcaster can even hit us. I didn't notice that. We're really just dead. I'm going to go out swinging. Let's Traverse. What do we want? It's got to be Huntmaster, right? That's the only card we have that's remotely impactful. Yeah, let's do it. It certainly doesn't save us, but at least we got to play our Haymaker. So, I'm pretty sure we're still dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can't activate both Colonnades, but they activate one. We block Gideon. We take 4. Does Elspeth buff people? The -7 does, but they're not there yet. So we're taking 4 off of Colonnade. We block this. We probably chump the Snapcaster Mage, or we don't. We take 1, 2, 3. So we're taking 7. We're still alive. We are definitely alive. We basically don't have a way to win. But we can live. Gideon is plussing up. Well, actually, did it 0? I think it zeroed. What did they even play? I think they Elspethed? Yeah, they did. Okay, well, they didn't animate Colonnade, which is nice. I'm going to keep the Huntmaster, I think. We're just going to chump Gideon. We go to 7. I don't believe they played a spell yet. That's a spell. Perhaps that's why they didn't animate Colonnade? They bounced that. They actually could have killed us with that, especially since we were tapped out. But anyways, I think our opponent's just playing with their food at this point. That or they didn't realize they had us dead. Now we're extraordinarily dead. We're going to look at their top card. Yeah. Uh-huh. Defiant till the end. What are you drawing? That's a nice basic island. I enjoy basic islands myself. You too. We said you too last time. Somebody said good luck, have fun. GG's. Well played. Xmage doesn't let you say your last message twice in a row, basically. You can't say the same thing twice. We drew Blood Moon. Oh, yeah. I don't think Blood Moon has been live for about 5 turns as far as draws go. So that's going to do it. Match loss against blue-white control, but that's alright. We had fun. We made some plays. There's the deck because I like when I leave it in deck editor ahead of time. May as well have the deck pop up instead of random games in Xmage. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.